So hi, Alex.
How's it going?
We are here in the Bungalow Dorf.
Yeah.
And you are here with WMD? AMMT?
I'm here with AMMT.
Okay.
And also with WMD. And we're showing kind of the new look and what we're doing with AMMT and kind of where we're headed. And then also just showing some new products for WMD as well.
Because it's a big change, right?
Yes, big change. We've decided that we can keep things going, and William has decided that he wants to keep making modules and keep innovating. And we have been working with him on lots of projects, and a lot of these digital projects were done by him, myself, and two other people that work at WMD, Matt Tanner and Mason Malvini. And they, we're a design team, and that's where all of the Metron and the drums and those things came from, was out of our innovation together. And so we've decided that in order to move forward, we would start a new company that is co-owned and co-managed by the four of us, and we're really excited about it.
Cool. So what has kind of changed then? What is still WMD and what is AMMT?
Yeah, so WMD is, I like to think of it kind of like an analog versus digital thing, but it's not quite like that, but that's what we're kind of thinking about right now. WMD is going to continue making the mixer and its voice architecture, so Carbon Filter, the Javelin, and then he's got a new version of the digital VCA. This is digital VCA Mark III. The cool thing about digital VCA is that it has zero crossing detection, so if you're using sine waves and things like that and very snappy envelopes, you don't get any pops anymore because it finds these 0 point and only opens when that's achieved. And now with the new version, it's 8 HP, and you've got some features left over from our multi-mode VCA, but you've got CV, you've got offset, and then you've got some different modes here.
Cool. So is that kind of available now? When's the kind of roadmap for
I think all
VCA?
this stuff that we're talking about is probably by the end of the year is what we're hoping for.
Brilliant.
So we're working out manufacturing, we're working out how these things are going to be done, and just for us it's a new thing working with contract manufacturing and sales teams and things like that. So we're just working out the fine details of how that's all going to go, but we're hoping new products and all these things by the end of the year.
Because previously WMD were kind of manufacturing for other people as well, right?
We were manufacturing for other people, and we were manufacturing everything for ourselves, and we had like 40-something SKUs of our own, then other modules to try and keep in other companies to try and keep in stock, and it was just a lot of work and a lot of stress. And so both companies are kind of sharing the load, but they're both going to be smaller, more focused product lines, like 6 or 7 products rather than 40.
Brilliant. So what else have we got then?
So the new thing that AMMT is showing is the HiHat. So we don't have a name for it yet. It's just a prototype, and we're working it out. So it's a fun piece of gear. It is basically a sample player with an interface that is designed around making hi-hats and percussive textures. So how it works is you have an open and closed input. And so right now you're hearing the difference between those two. We've got release over both. And then we have a layer 2 that's just for the interface. So if you switch up the knob here, or the switch here, release becomes release offset. And you're now adjusting the length of the closed versus the open. And then you go back here, and now this is a knob for both releases. There's a balance knob, which is basically a mix between the open and closed. And so this is so you can normalize the samples you put in this, and then you can still mix them on the interface. There's a blend knob because there's 2 layers of samples. Right now we're only listening to layer B, and layer B is samples that are going to be on the flash, that are on the module. And so to get to those, again, flip up the switch. I like to think of it as opening the hood. And now you can choose what sample you're going to use. You lock that in. Again, flip the switch. Surface now controls surface A. So we're not hearing anything because we're only listening to surface B. So we go over to A, and we can choose something that we want to layer with the hi-hat we chose in B. So we have those two, and now we can mix those two together to create the hi-hat we want. We go back into the layer B of the interface, and now we have high pass and low pass filters, so you can EQ your perfect sound and get it in with your mix. Go back here, this again becomes balance, this becomes effects. We don't have any effects right now, we're working on that, trying to figure out what's going to work, what should be on it. So now, when you add CV to the surface A, you can be moving around and getting these fun textures. We've got a cool loop going, but we blend in that original hi-hat sound, and now you've kind of got like a bread and butter hi-hat happening, and you've got some textures in the background.
Brilliant.
So yeah, it's a super fun thing. It does have an SD card, and there's 8 banks of 16 samples on Surface A, so you can load your own samples into it. Sample time is very long, I believe. I think it's like 15 to maybe 30 seconds per sample. I don't know exactly what that is yet, but you can add your own samples and they can be long, so you can do some fun, weird stuff with it. It doesn't just have to be a hi-hat, but the interface and the playability is designed around making hi-hats in your productions and in your compositions.
So in terms of like takeover, when you switch, is there kind of like a takeover mode for like the knobs, or is it what's the kind of?
It's all just jump to values. So
right,
as
okay.
soon as you touch a knob, it jumps to that value.
Yeah,
So
okay.
there's no soft take up. The sounds that the knobs affect are so easy to hear and so quick that you can get to those positions really quickly. So we didn't really feel like there was necessary for take up.
Cool. So what else have we got?
So we have, I talked about the digital VCA, so the next thing and the last thing is the new performance mixer. So we've been selling the original performance mixer for quite a few years now, and it's one of the staples in Eurorack. Lots of Eurorack performers love the performance mixer, and we've gotten some feedback about it that people wanted different design choices involved, and so we've taken a lot of those into account with this new one. So the first most obvious thing is we have a bus now, and we have this whole section of inputs for CV. So every input has CV over level and panning and auxiliary control. You have two auxiliary sends, and before you could only send to aux 1 or 2. Now you can send to both at once. So that's nice if you have a reverb and delay and you want to get those going, you can. And then I mentioned the bus. The bus is a stereo bus, so it's a stereo out, and then I'm using the mix input to come back in. And what's exciting about this is that you can choose with this button here what's going to go to the bus. So right now,
okay.
I'm only using the bass line, and I can filter out the bass line here. So now I want to switch and I need a master filter. I don't have a master filter set up. So I can just put everything in the bus, and now we have a master filter. So the bus is really useful for performance because you're getting a lot more longevity and distance out of other modules. So like the filter, for example, the Overseer is a really nice thing for like sculpting your sounds, putting pads and samples and things like that in a place. It's a great like EQ, but it's also a DJ filter, and that's like what most people use it for. And so with the bus, you can use it for both in one performance, and you're just a few button presses away from getting there. Everything is one knob per function, one button, and there's this group, which is taken from the mutes. One thing I didn't talk about, we do have clickless mutes on channels. So you don't need a mutes expander anymore, it's on the panel. You want to send something to the queue, you just hold the queue, hit the button, you've got an LED telling you it's now going to your headphones. And then the bus, same idea, you just hold bus and add them or take them apart, take them out. And then with group, we can choose multiple things while we're holding it, and when we let go, the action happens. So I hit group, I want these to be muted, and I want these to come out of the bus. And when I let go, we're gonna drop into the new thing. And all of that happens at once as soon as I let go of that. So again, super powerful for creating drops and creating transitions. And all you have to do is set it up with one finger, like use two hands to set it up, but now your other hand is free while you're getting that ready, and then you can make the transition happen.
Brilliant. So I'm guessing kind of prices are kind of...
Yeah, prices are kind of in the air right now. We're not really sure where we're going to go. The drum modules will all stay around their price. The new mixer will be quite a bit more expensive. It does have a lot of different parts and new things on it. It's also designed to be manufactured, so hopefully once we get them in production, we'll be able to keep them in stock. I think the target for this is around 1299 or 1199, but not quite sure.
Brilliant. Well, Alex, thank you very much for speaking to us. Glad to see you back.
Yeah, wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for having me.
Cheers, man.